If you go to start the system after the motor's wired in, what you're looking for is the motor to spin up to its rated speed. Let's say it's a 1700 RPM motor. You want it to spin at 1700 RPM within a second of turning on the system. If it doesn't come up to speed within a second, you want to turn it off. You have about 5 seconds to turn it off, or some bad stuff might happen. So if your motor doesn't spin up right when you turn it on, there are some common wiring mistakes within the panel. The first thing we're going to want to check is to make sure we have 220 volts across our incoming line. So here's our incoming line. So you're just going to want to make sure that you're not on a single phase, or you're not putting ground into these lugs. You want your 2 hots into here and then a ground to the case. You're going to want to ground your incoming single phase power, your outgoing 3-phase power, and your motor to a common point in the panel. After that, another couple common wiring mistakes are wiring the capacitor banks in. So to wire your capacitor banks, you're going to want to jump from one capacitor to the next and tie them together. When you do that, these capacitors are non-polar. So it doesn't matter which side you put with what. But when you're jumping from one capacitor to the next, you're just going to want to keep it consistent. So imagine one side or terminal of the capacitor is blue, the other side is white. Let's say the blue side is positive and the white side is negative. Keep the capacitors consistent, that they jump from blue to blue to blue, and that they go from white to white. You are not going to want to cross over and mix, let's say, positive to negative and crisscross that. When you go to wire the capacitor bank after they've all been jumpered together into the system, as the lines come in and jumps through the capacitors and leaves, so you're going to want to be consistent through that. And a common mistake is either the incoming or the outgoing lines are essentially flip-flopped. And it's just a simple position error, and all you need to do is just swap those wires. So be mindful when you wire it, looking at the wiring diagram, that you come in and go out of the side of the capacitor consistently.